Are you ready to level up? Do you wish to live a life of options and not obligations? You've come to the right place. Thank you for stopping on by to hear knowledge nuggets from Coach Fergie and his top-tier guest to help you lean into your ultimate human potential. Now, let's level up with Coach Fergie.
Hey, Varsity Squad, welcome back to another edition of Level Up Conversations with Coach Fergie, presented by Rise Mortgage. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, blessed to be your gap coach, helping business leaders, entrepreneurs, athletes, students, and everyday people bridge this gap between where they are and where they're capable of going. Today, we're doing something a little different, and honestly, I'm pretty fired up about it. Over the years, I've had the privilege of sitting across from hundreds of high performers, CEOs, professional athletes, entrepreneurs, first responders, parents, people from every walk of life, and I noticed something. The biggest battle almost never happens out there. It happens between our ears. Think about this for a second. Have you ever talked yourself out of doing something you knew you were capable of? Have you ever convinced yourself you weren't ready? Maybe you've caught yourself saying, I'm just not good at that. I always screw up. I've never been lucky. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm not smart enough. Who told you that? Better yet, why are you still believing it? That's what today's conversation is all about. Not the story you tell everyone else, the story you quietly tell yourself every single day, because eventually you start living it. Joining me for our very first Coach's Corner is someone I have tremendous respect for. He's worked with elite athletes, high performers, and now spends his time helping people develop harmony between the mind, body, and spirit. But more than anything, he's simply just a great person, a coach who loves on you and helps people think a little bit differently. And again, that man is John Denney. And John, the legend Denney, thank you so much for coming back in. I interviewed you 2 months ago, but just having you in here and then being on your dock every Tuesday morning doing the harmony exercise with you at 6 o'clock, it's been helping me put in alignment closer to God. Just everything is in an alignment. So I want to, the feedback out there, squad, if you have good feedback, this is something I'd like to start doing with John monthly. But thank you for coming in, brother.
Oh, my pleasure. And it's a very nice introduction. Thank you.
Yeah. Going back, just real quick with your story with Carol Ryder, #1 astrologer back then. He worked with Ronald Reagan, who worked with other people, then Dr. Bucell, and then Beverly Gard. You have such a background of working within people, and you always say, even when you're, I want to call it preaching, but you're giving your sermon at church, you'll say, we become what we think about. It happens right in between the head, right? Squad, I always make the horns and I put it around the temples, and that's where everything happens, right? Absolutely. So do you think every single person listening right now has a story running through their head, whether they realize it or not?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the human nature. Building a story, building a facade, building a character, really.
Sure. Is it a lot of them lies?
I think the problem is our internal stories are generated by an outternal focus. So we're getting our story, like you said in your introduction, we believe what the world tells us. And when we start to believe what the world tells us, we're living a lie, we're living an illusion. And until we really start tapping into our inner self, where most of the answers already are, they're already in there.
Thank you.
But we don't look for them. And 99 out of 100 people never look for them.
They never look for them. And you said that on your church services where it's like, hide it, find their true self on the highest mountain, like find it there, buried in the sea, they'll find it there. It's always right in there. And part of my coaching is I say, everyone knows what they want. They just don't know how to talk themselves into it.
Yes.
And that every challenge that resides inside them, just to the right of the heart, the answer's there. They just have to tap into it, right?
9 times out of 10.
Right. And when I've really started, I've always been a pretty decent problem solver. I get to handle challenges, not have to. That's how I operate. But when we're on the dock and we're going through the harmony exercise and getting closer to God, right? Like I'm feeling a lot more alignment to where things are coming from the head down versus, you know what I'm saying with that?
Yes. And yes, we're getting closer to God, but what we're getting more closer to are the principles of God. So in that particular meditation, we break God down into understandable parts of health and harmony in our relationships and abundant supply in our life. And so we break it down and renew our minds into our natural condition which we were created in the first place before we screwed it all up. And then we poisoned ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and we were poisoned by the world too at the same time.
And speaking of the world, a lot of these kids and adults, you'll see them scrolling. And another coach that I respect immensely, he's like, that those are people that can't think for themselves. They're literally getting told what to think by scrolling. What do you think about that?
I think that it's not so much that they're thinking from the scrolling, but they're not thinking at all. And they've turned off the creative process completely.
Yes.
And we've turned into a society of zombies.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, if you walked up to someone and said, what were the last 3 things you scrolled past? They wouldn't be able to tell you because they're not focused on that. They're probably thinking about something else. So that you have this complete disconnect between thought and focus and intention and everything else. So it's a scattered brain. It's a scatterbrain.
And when we get back to the kind of the stories, and when you say the story, what are we really thinking about with the story? Is it simply thoughts, or do you feel that it's become something bigger than just their thoughts? Because I think it's dumbed down to thoughts.
Well, it's dumbed down to thoughts, but there's also an emotional intelligence factor of it all. Where you have, it's like emotional well-being, right? So most people are nervous wrecks living in fear, anxiety, panic, and they never find a place of calm or peace to deal with the world, right? And it doesn't come from the outside. It has to come.
So where do you think they begin? The stories?
I think they begin from the world. Someone tells us, listen, if you can get the good girl and make a lot of money, you'll be happy. Then the people who do that are miserable, and they don't understand why, because they've done everything society told them to do.
Yes.
And they're like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So I come from a family of very worldly, successful people. I come from a family of more suicide and drug addiction and divorce than you'd like to shake a stick at. So some of the wealthiest people I know in the world, and I know some wealthy people, are absolutely the poorest people I know.
Yes.
All they have is money, and they don't understand why that money is not translating into happiness and health and these other things, but it never will.
And I believe, Squad, that John's not saying money's bad. But money, to me, gives us choices.
No, absolutely.
We have to have it.
It's making money it's making money your God. It's the love of money. It's making money your goal of life. And then when you get it, you're like, wow, I'm not very much happier than I was without it. Or if I went from 1 million to 2 million, I'm not twice as happy.
That's brilliant, man. Is you saying that is brilliant with it, because you're not. And I did that when I was younger, chase the dollar. Instead of, there's a great song called Buy Dirt that's out there by a guy named Jordan Davis that Susan and I love to go see in concert. And it's about dropping down the knee, marrying your woman, putting the check marks on the wall of how tall your kids are, and enjoying that part of it. Buy dirt and live a fulfilled life, right?
Absolutely.
Because I'm sorry to interject, man, but I look at you and I look at Allie and Luke, right? And their kids, and they're out there. She's winning volleyball tournaments all over the place. Luke is on the Google yacht,
right,
doing his thing, but they're like so respectful. They're like, I see it. And to be a fly in the wall when you raised them, I think that you put your foot down when you had to, but you didn't tell them no a lot. Did you?
I said yes all the time.
Okay.
And I think that, but again, the foundation was that we taught them how to control themselves, how to think. We gave them a good example. We didn't set up false idols and things like that.
Yeah.
So they've really become successful people at 28 and 26.
You said Luke wouldn't leave the room until you said, I love you. You probably didn't hear him.
He'd come back in.
He's like, Dad, I said I love you, which is amazing. My dad didn't. We tell each other we love each other all the time now, but growing up, his stoic, kind of pick cotton in Alabama, sharecropper guy, they didn't do that. They didn't cry at funerals. They're that. But lately, I think now that he's coming up on 80, he tells me he loves me all the time. And he's my hero. Just to hear that.
I also was never told I love you by my father, ever. And I don't think he knew how to do it. I mean, he could do it. He just didn't have that ability. So I gave a sermon a few weeks ago, but we learn things from people. We either learn what to do or we learn what not to do. I learned what not to do from my father. So I attended all my children's sporting events. I made sure I was hugely impactful in their lives.
Yeah.
And it's made a big difference. I see it now. Hindsight's 20/20, but looking back, I did it right there.
And without you, Chad Helmstetter wrote in his book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, one of the greatest books ever for internal thinking. He said that kids are told no an average of 135,000 times by the time they're 13. Think about what that can do. You're a born salesman, right? When you're a baby, you cry, you want that nipple. You want to be fed, right? That's selling. You go through the checkout line, you want that candy bar. That's selling. They're trying to sell. And it's programmed out of us. We all are born salesmen. Can we agree on that in a sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's just programmed out by parents. And I don't think it comes from a place of lack, right? I think it comes from a place of protection with a lot of parents.
And it comes from a place of ignorance. They were told, they were told no.
Right.
And so they only they're just redoing what they were taught in the first place. And that's the problem. It's the blind leading the blind. Or how are you supposed to learn something from someone who never learned it themselves? You can't.
It's amazing how one sentence spoken can still be directing their lives for decades. You know what I'm saying? Just one little thing, and it might not even been meant to be said to them.
It's funny you say that because I was taking a class a few years ago when we were talking about money consciousness. And we were looking, where did your programming about money come from? I could hear my mother's voice in my head saying things. Don't spend it. You don't know where it comes from. Just certain things which had been in my mind running the looping recording.
And my dad would say, one thing I like about my son is that if I can't afford it, he understands. While he's going out, and Dad, if you listen to this, it's all true. I love you. But he would go out and take his paycheck and play lottery like all day long with it. And again, that's what people do. That's fine. It's supporting some kind of thing. But he would tell me lack things, and it programmed me into that.
Yes.
I got out of it in the military where someone kind of took me to the side and said, you can be successful with it. And I was like, really? I can? So I started a car detailing business and then a personal training business. I failed miserably at a lot of things, but I just didn't stop with that. And squad, speaking of continuing on and not stopping, my guy Steve Austin from Rise Mortgage is grinding through this market. I'm so blessed that he is my sponsor. I'm going to throw it to him for a market update and a mortgage nugget. And we come back, we're going to go a little bit deeper with my good friend and coach, John Denney. Steve, take it away.
Thanks, Scott. Happy Saturday, everyone. This is Steve Austin with the Rise Mortgage Dynamic Team, here with your mortgage nugget of the week. Hometown Heroes is back. Over the last few years, the Hometown Heroes program has made a huge impact to help thousands of Floridians purchase their first home. As of this week, the program was refunded with $50 million to help even more buyers' dreams come true. With the possibility of getting up to $35,000 in down payment and closing cost assistance for qualified buyers, this could be just the thing you've been waiting for to get in the home purchase game. To find out more and see if you qualify for the Hometown Heroes program, give us a call at 561-250-6044. That's 561-250-6044. That's it for this week. This is Steve Austin, your branch manager, NMLS 762328 of the Rise Mortgage Dynamic Team, NMLS 1604663, an equal housing lender.
Are you looking to finance your dream home, vacation getaway, or an investment property? The Rise Mortgage Dynamic Team and Company is here to help. Steve Austin and his team, their expert loan advisors, combine local knowledge with cutting-edge technology to make your financing process efficient and seamless. Whether it's your first home or your next investment, trust Steve Austin and the Rise Mortgage Dynamic Team and Company to guide you every step of the way. Visit them today and experience the perfect blend of technology and personal touch. Steve Austin's Rise Mortgage Dynamic Team, your local experts in residential financing. Call Steve today at 561-352-9278. That's 561-352-9278. 561-352-9278. NMLS number 1604663.
Hey, Steve, thank you so much. One, blessed for your sponsorship. And two, I know I'm seeing you right after this, and we're going to do some celebrating for your, I think it was like a $20 million month. So I'm blessed to coach you, and I'm blessed to just be your friend as well. And thank you for the sponsorship. Squad, we're back with my good friend, my coach. He's my coach now. It's just great. I love the guy, John Denney. And John, here's something I see over and over again coaching, right? I've coached people, blessed to coach people making seven figures. I've coached elite athletes, people everyone else would call incredibly successful, yet privately, they still don't believe they're enough. So how's that possible?
I think that's one of the easiest ones to figure out in the whole place, because they've done everything the world has told them to do. They achieved it, and then they don't have any inner joy, inner happiness. There's nothing fulfilling from those outer achievements. So one of my most successful clients had just won a major, and they won a golf major and millions of dollars that year. And it came into my office miserable. Why am I not happy? And I'm like, because you believed the lie. You believed if you worked hard and won the tournament and made the money, somehow happiness would come from that outer achievement. But it's all BS. You don't achieve happiness from outer achievement ever. I don't care how much money you make. It ain't going to make you happy. And I've seen it because I've been with the richest people in the world, and they're no more joyful than the guy who lives in the shack down on the beach. And a lot of times that guy's a lot more joyful.
He can be. Absolutely.
And so looking into it, I think a lot of the reasons why worldly successful people are not joyful and spiritually happy is because they've never really woken up to the actual secrets of life. And that's what you said before. We become what we think about. And if we're thinking about crap most of the time, we're going to not feel well or start to think about good things. So we have to change that internal dialogue. It's not about the external success.
Yeah.
It's completely separate.
That's one of the things I was going to roll into is that can someone become outwardly successful while still carrying around an old story?
Sure.
That isn't true. Right?
There's
They can.
lots of them.
Yeah, because they kind of hide behind it in a sense, right?
Okay, outwardly successful. That's the key word that you just said. The appearance is success. But you get them in a room, they're just scared little men, scared little women, have no idea what's going on, and they can't figure it out.
They're actually like a duck on a pond. I noticed where on the surface they look like they're chilling, but underneath,
Yeah,
keep them
wondering if they're
around,
about
right?
to get eaten.
Yeah,
exactly.
that. So a lot of people think success fixes insecurity, right? I'm not really convinced that it does at all, and I'm sure that I don't think you are as well. In fact, sometimes I think success just gives insecurity a nicer house to live in.
Success can create insecurity in people because now they're like, why aren't I happy? So instant insecurity because they've achieved everything the world told them to achieve and they're still miserable. I've seen very wealthy people kill themselves.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I guess I can tell. I was in a situation coaching a very successful person via Zoom, and I had to Baker Act him because he was in it, and I'm not qualified for that. Again, I start every coaching conversation with everything we talk about is confidential, unless you talk about hurting yourself or others. And one of the questions that I asked, and again, I'm a coach. I'm not going to tell you, hey, John, go do this. And you're like, Fergie, you're an idiot. That didn't work. My superpower is curiosity, like I'm sure a lot of yours is too. But if I can ask the question and see that light bulb go off over the head and then lean into that question with more questions, and then they come up with it. And then I'm an accountability. I don't want to use the word Nazi because that's just a bad word, but like I'm an accountability freak.
Right.
By 9 a.m., I have 22 clients right now that have to text me their morning protocol. And it begins with 3 things you're grateful for, your intention for the day, and each week I add something to them. So I'm trying to rewire the reticular activating system to get them to wake up to being gratitude. Yeah. And then that's why I was talking to you about learning the harmony exercise, which squad, go to theharmonyexercise.com and check out that site. And if you're more interested, give me a call directly at 561-440-3830. Again, 561-440-3830. And again, theharmonyexercise.com. That morning that I haven't missed now.
Yes.
And I am closer to God while still worshiping him and stuff, because I was raised fire and brimstone, right? And I believe that to worship God. But there's the way that the harmony exercise is set up. And I'm sure you're sick of this word with me, but alignment. Every time I see you, I'm like, I'm in alignment. Everything just really seems well.
We think about God, like you're saying, and we worship God, but there's a second part of it, and that's the experiencing of God. That's the feeling you get when you think a thought of love, when you think a thought of gratitude. It changes you chemically, electrically, physically.
Absolutely.
It makes a huge difference, right?
Yes.
So yes, we think about God and worship God and we read the Bible, whatever, but the more important thing is that we start using it in our lives. When I say, I love you, Scott, thank you for having me on this radio show. Right there, I am using those principles of God. I am using love and gratitude with you right now. That's going to increase our relationship. It's going to make it better and better.
Absolutely.
And on the opposite side, if I were to start to be mean to you or persecute you in some way, that would separate our relationship.
Sure.
So it's a cause and effect world we live in.
You sure our relationship's just not over Susan sourdough?
It is good. It's one perk. I always look for perks in my relationship. So sourdough bread.
She makes that. You have to take this because she works a lot on Sundays. She's like, you have to take this into church. I'm like, grow up. And the guy's like, the guy that I give it to there.
Yeah,
How can someone, John, then tell the difference between a fact and a story they've simply repeated so many times that it feels true? Because somebody, again, if they're talking to themselves, they're repeating the same crap, for a lack of a better term.
Scott, belief is belief. And if you're going to believe the lie, it's hard to change people's belief system. We see that out there all the time, every single day. People believe lies. And unfortunately, it's much harder to get that person to believe the truth. They're going to keep, once they believe the lie and really held on to it, it's almost impossible to get them to switch it around. It's mind-boggling listening to people sometimes. Yeah.
Because like losing a business is a fact, right? That's a fact that can happen. I'm a failure, telling yourself, is a story. They're telling us, losing a wrestling match, we're like my high-level wrestlers, but saying I choke under pressure is a story. How would you recommend with your coaching that people begin separating those two, the fact from the story they tell themselves?
First, you got to know what you want to be.
Okay.
And secondly, we use affirmations and analysis. We need to start affirming it. I don't like the term fake it till you make it, but I think it's like reprogramming the computer.
It does.
When somebody says to me, "How are you today?" I say, "I am awesome." Right. I could be going into a cold or not feeling well, but that's the last thing I'm going to tell them.
Yeah.
So you want to put out there what you want to be, and then you start affirming it.
Yes.
And yes, at first it feels a little bit like you're
lying,
cheating yourself, or lying, or faking it. But then at some point it starts to become the truth.
Yeah.
And you start to be like, no, I am amazing.
Yes.
And I am very good at this situation. And at that point, I think that level of love, that vibrational level that we talk about with people, that starts to change. And we start to experience the joy and the kindness and the nicer things of life.
Absolutely. And even with my clients, as I believe God blessed us with the ability to think and problem solve. So a lot of times my clients are like, dude, the affirmations suck or stink. Sorry. They stink, right? But I'm like, okay, let's flip it to a question. If you're saying, I feel great, I feel good, I feel terrific, but how is it that I wake up every day feeling ready to go to serve people and I feel terrific? You ask yourself that your subconscious goes to work.
Right.
Try to answer that question. And a lot of times with this, I really believe in the reticular activating system, that if you get it rolling, that's what it's going to produce for you and work to answer that question for you in the real body.
Most people wake up and they think, they actually scan their mind wondering what yesterday's problems were. What was I working on yesterday, right? And then they end up renewing their mind first thing in the morning into yesterday's problem. And then they wonder why they're still miserable today and yesterday. So when do we do the harmony exercise?
First thing.
Sunrise. Yeah. The first kind of thoughts you want to think of the day. That's where we reset. That's where we press the restart button. That's where we press the reset button. That's where we renew our mind, giving ourselves a good chance to go out into the world now and deal with all that stuff we're going to have to deal with.
Absolutely. And again, it allows me to put things, the final part of it is what we're basically in the harmony exercise, we're meditating, but we're praying, right? With God. And I love that you said God is I am, because when Moses went to the mountain, what should I tell him your name? And my name is I am. Just being able to say that, not saying we are God, but we're part of, we worship a God that wants us to succeed, in a sense, to live your best life of service that leads into
we're not
what you
God,
want.
but it says that we're created in his image and likeness.
Thank you.
So as far as John Denney is concerned, I am God. As far as Scott Ferguson is concerned, you are God. So we are creating these beings. Now, are these beings in the vibration of love and gratitude and living their best world, or are they in the vibration of anger and fear and worry, anxiety, all those? And I think that's the secret of life, is learning how to choose the peace and happiness regardless of what the world's doing.
And so we landed this plane with, if every listener could replace just one sentence they've been repeating to themselves, what sentence would you hope they would stop saying, and what would you replace it with?
I think that the thing they should stop saying is probably the one that doesn't make them feel good. So for each and every person, what they should stop saying is probably going to be different. Do they suffer from
I'm tired. I'm over on this.
Those are the things you should stop saying, because we're constantly creating. So whatever we say, we're going to create more of. I can't observe myself. I have to. I actually become more of it. And then I certainly like those sayings. Everything's going great. It's all
Yes,
okay.
it
You know,
is.
something just sets us back down. Don't try to lift yourself up to some great height, but find that space in there. Yeah, it's all going
And
along
what
all
you
right.
what you said after, and I got to wrap this up here in a second, but what you had said is if you say I am tired, and if God said my name is I am on that mountain,
Yes, you
it's
make yourself more tired.
you make
It
yourself more
is
tired.
abracadabra of creation. Saying those two words, I am this or that. You
What
become
follows
it.
am chases you.
Yes,
It 100% does. It does. That's what it is. And squad, again, I really want you to go to theharmonyexercise.com. Again, theharmonyexercise.com. It's under construction on a few things, but John's really working it out.
Yep.
With you working with
And we're gonna have a great.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, come September, we're gonna have a great free library for everyone
That's
to
gonna be
enjoy,
awesome.
and it's gonna
Yeah.
have lots of different versions of it. So it's gonna be really good.
John. Thank you so much, man, for coming on. I know I'll see you Tuesday morning.
Thank you,
You're bringing
Scott.
another client to the dock. Absolutely love you, brother. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
And squad, thank you, awesome sauce producer Brian Mudd to WJNO. Go out and have yourself a great weekend. Make sure you remember our troops that are doing the deed. I absolutely love your guts. Level up.